All right, so this is going to be a really quick walkthrough of the LubeLogger's inspections records. So first thing first, what you're going to need to do is go to the settings tab and then enable the inspections tab. You will also want to enable the planner tab as well, and I will get into the reason for that later. Optionally, you can also enable the odometer tab and the auto insert odometer records feature down here. This will allow LubeLogger to automatically create an odometer record every single time an inspection record is created. All right, so once you got that done, go back to Garage, click into your vehicle, and you should find the inspections tab in between notes and reminders. So click on that and then click Add Inspection Record. Now, if you don't have any templates set up, you can create a new one by clicking Add New Inspection Template. So this is pretty much the form building part of an inspection record. So you can name your inspection record template. So for example, safety inspection. And optionally, you can also select a recurring reminder to push back every single time an inspection record uses this template and is created. But I don't have any recurring reminders set up, so we're not going to be doing that today. So what you're going to do next is to create a field for your template. Now, there are three types of field. There's text, checks, and radios. So text field is pretty straightforward. It's just an input field that the user has to fill out. So for example, performed by, so this will be the name of the person who performed the inspection or where your inspection takes place, and so on and so forth. Now, to add the inspection template, you just click Add, and now you can see here that my inspection record template selector has a new template in it that I can select. To use it, click on the blue button with a plus sign in the middle that says Use on top. So click that, and you can see here that my perform by field is available right here, and that it is a required field, so it needs to be filled out. Now, go back to my inspection record template, and I'm going to click Edit so I can go back to editing my template. Now, the second type of field is a check field. So a check field would be on some inspection records, inspection forms. It will tell the inspector or the person inspecting the vehicle to put a check on the items that they have inspected and is found to be in good working conditions. So an example of that will be exterior lights, for example, and you would add an option by clicking the Add Option button. So I'm going to add a few. So for example, headlights, tail lights, brake lights, and turn signals. Okay, and you will also notice that there is a fail check on the side. Now, this is what makes a field a failing criteria. For a check field, right? Um, if you check this failing, if you check it and you mark the option as a failing criteria, then exterior lights will be evaluated as fail if this option isn't selected. So, for example, let's save the template and let's go back to using the template. So for example, if you're inspecting, if you're filling out this form and you didn't check any of these items here that is a failing criteria, then the inspection will fail on the exterior lights portion. So let's go back to edit, and I'm going to add an option here as well that is an optional field. So a parking light, for example, if you have inspected the parking light and it's found to be non-functional, but it's not a failing criteria and therefore you didn't check it, then it won't cause the exterior lights to fail just by this not being checked alone. Okay, as long as all these other options are checked, then the exterior lights will pass. Now, let's kind of go over the has notes and the has action items. So if you check has notes and you go back to use, it will add a notes field down here for that field, and it supports markdown as well, so you can type in markdown here and it will render it as markdown. Now let's move on to the last type of field, which is a radio field. So a radio field is a field that allows the user to select one and only one option. So an example of it will be front tires, and your options will be good, fair, and bad. Now, with a radio field, the way that it fails is that if you check if you mark an option as a failing criteria, then it will fail the field if the failing criteria is selected, right? So if bad is selected for the front tires, then this will evaluate as fail. Okay, and now let's move on to the action items. So action items is the action item that is there's a to-do item that will be created in the planner tab here when this field evaluates as fail. So for example, if the front tires are bad, it's going to create an action item like replace front tires, and it will, let's say it's a service record, service item type, and critical priority. So it will create this action item here in this planner tab, and I will show you an example of that in a bit. Now, optionally, you can also create some fails, some tags down here, so like safety and inspection, and then you can just save your record, and I'm going to show you guys how to fill out the form. And for my first run through, I'm going to intentionally create a failing inspection to show you how the fields are evaluated. So I'm going to click use. I'm going to fill out my odometer, and I'm going to type in the cost, $15, performed by Bob Jones. And here I'm going to select headlights, turn signals, tail lights, and I'm going to skip brake lights and parking light. Now I know that brake light is a failing criteria if it doesn't work. And so I'm intentionally causing the inspection to fail here in exterior lights. Now notes fields are optional, but I'm going to fill it in here anyways. And then I'm going to select bad for the front tires. So remember, this has an action item. So with bad selected for the front tires, it's going to create an action item in the planner tab. So I'm going to click add new inspection record, and you can see here the result is evaluated as fail. If you click into it, you will see that for the exterior lights, brake lights is highlighted in red and it has a red cross, meaning that it is not selected, and this is a failing criteria. So exterior lights failed because brake lights was not selected. And here are the notes rendered in Markdown. And front tires, because bad was selected, it's circled in red, and that's why it failed. Now, let's look in the planner tab, and you should see the action item in here. As you can see here, there is a replace front tires to-do item of service type critical priority. And you can see here that it's the inspection record is also linked in the attachments as well. Clicking on this will bring you to the inspection record here. And there is also a service record that will be created, and a service record will always be created every time an inspection record is created. And the reason for that is this. So inspection records are immutable by design. So you can see here that you can't edit the date, the odometer, or the description, nor any of the fields down here that has been selected. So the only thing that you can really modify or edit is the tags and any attachments that you might have for the inspection record. And that is it. So if you make a mistake on the odometer or the date or the cost, for example, you will have to make any modifications here in the service record instead. Now, for my second run through, I'm going to create an inspection record that will evaluate as passing. So let's do that. So I'm going to use the safety inspection template. I'm going to click use, and I'm going to fill in my odometer. I'm going to type in the cost. I'm going to fill in name, the perform by field here. And this time I'm going to select all of this, check all of these exterior lights that I know are failing criteria if they're not checked. I'm not going to check parking light because maybe I inspected it and it wasn't in a working order, but it's not a failing criteria, and therefore it doesn't cause these exterior lights to fail. And I'm going to set here in the notes that parking light tested and found non-functional. Okay, and then I'm going to say the front tires are in fair condition, and I'm going to click add new inspection record. And as you can see here, it evaluated as pass. So clicking in here, you can see that there are no fields here that are highlighted in red, and that's how you know that it is a passing inspection. And it will also create the record here in my service records tab as well. Clicking on it will obviously also take me to that record. So yeah, that is about it for inspection records.